coming this morning, so we're going to show you the cold start from the beginning. The kids are out here to help me. So Kaya is going to pull the bolts out of the sides. There's some extra air holes in the back to allow for a more complete burn. So she's going to pull those out with me. And there's one more in the back. Just make sure not to lean on the pipe when you reach around, okay? None of that should be leaned on. So it is awesome. This time I remembered to close everything down. And so, huh?
How is she?
She's good. Shut the door. It's warm in here. Shut the door. Shut the door. Shut the door. What, honey? You got it? So last time we closed every hole. We closed everything down. And so this time everything will not be so cold starting it up. So I got this open. Oh, it does have a latch on it. I keep forgetting. Hey, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Michael.
It has a latch on the side so that this can't ever be blown open. I have had that happen before when I closed everything down very suddenly. The vortex back, there was a slight explosion in the stove, and the door blew open because those gases were still ignited, and so when I closed all the air down, they had nowhere to go. So I do have a little bit of ash. That is something that they talk about in rocket stoves, that they say, you know, rocket stoves don't have ash. This one does, and I don't know if it's because sometimes I'm lighting it with paper. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to, let's see, how warm is it in here? It's above freezing. I'm not sure exactly. I don't have a, let's see. I don't have an accurate, indoor thermometer. I have one for the stove itself, which it's way below what it would read because it would be looking for high temperatures. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. So I'm going to clean it out. Girls, you're going to sit at the table and get started on school. Okay? Your school's right there underneath the bookshelf. So I'm going to get some wax. It seems to work a little bit better with wax, or I might grab some of the fat pine that's from Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. It is significantly warmer here than it was last time because I closed everything down. Because everybody knows the chimney will suck all the warm air out of your house if you leave it open without a fire going at night. It's just trying to balance the temperature outside with the temperature inside, and then it'll stop fluing. So I'm going to go grab, but I wanted to show you guys from the very beginning this time. Hey, Bobby. I wanted to show you from the very beginning this time how I do it, rather than coming in as like an afterthought being like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. So I'm going to try and make sure I keep everything closed. I don't want the door open and shut a lot, so I'm going to go grab everything real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll start it. Girls, sing them a song. You got school? I'm going to get it started. I just can't leave the door open. Oh, I don't hear any singing. You're not going to sing them a song?
Well, I can't think of one.
You can't think of a song, huh? Okay, so I don't have anything super, super tiny, and I forgot my tray. I don't really want all that ash in there.
I used to got used to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sit quietly, agree politely. Help me down, back that up. Already pushing up the dust. She's hear my voice, hear that sound.
Alright, so we're going to get the ash out. Most of it is still just coal, but there is that little bit. I did close the damper down all the way before I left last night, and so it was not clean burning when I left. Now, you would not expect to see that much ash in a rocket mass heater, but the reason that we're doing the rocket mass heater the way that we are is that we need it to be light. So do I feel like it is burning cleaner than the average wood stove? Definitely. Do I feel like the vacuum of the air-crete chimney is making it so that our downdraft is actually, or our bench is actually from a downdraft? Like, it's got to drop like 18 inches, 2 feet to get into that bench, and it's still working. So do I feel like it's a happy stove, good for us? Yes, I do. Do I think that it burns as clean as a regular mock-up mass heater? I don't know yet. We haven't been burning it long enough to really know. And so, what is it catching on? I cannot see very well. So, we're going to go ahead and get it started. It works best with one of the little pucks that that Darwin made. He has a little fire starter that won't blow out in the wind, and so you can set it on water, you can put it out in the wind, and it won't blow out. But I don't have one of them right now, so we're going to have to make do with some paper and some wax and some fat pine. So we're just going to do our best with what we've got. But I did want to show you. I did want to show you exactly what it's like to try and start this thing. Keep in mind that I have a huge mass, like, that has to be heated up. I've got this mass. I've got, that is full of pebbles. Hey, Wanda. She made it. And then I've got the big old bench that's full of pebbles, and the chimney is currently cold. That is the box. I'll try and show it to you. That's the vent. This is the vent, and currently it is closed off from the bench, so that it'll go straight up the chimney and warm everything up there. And then once it's really rip snorting through there, then I can open it up to go into the bench. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it started. And sometimes it takes a minute. The reason is that we have issues with it sucking the flame off. And again, we have a super, super cold chimney right now. So we'll see how this goes. And we haven't figured out yet whether it's better with the grate in or whether it's better with the grate out. But we'll see. I think at the moment I'm having a hard time getting the grate to sit like flat. And I don't know why I'm having that problem, because yesterday it fit. But it's a little bit too high above my kindling and my fat pine. By the way, if you want fat pine, they have it over at Deep South Homestead's Etsy store, if that's the kind of thing you like. So we actually have, there we go. We had a little bit of smoke coming out. I don't know if we still do. I can't see in the camera. Yesterday when I had the bench open too soon, we had a little bit of creosote dripping from the second pipe, the one that's closest to the wall, the one that stays the coolest. It does look like a little steam train, doesn't it? So you don't necessarily have, somebody asked a question about if it needed to have the grate in. It doesn't need to have the grate in. No, it doesn't. But because we're still playing with it and we're still trying to figure out how it wants to operate. And today, this morning, that's the first time we've had any kind of smoke actually coming out the front. So that's a new thing. Which last time we found that we had a little bit of ash in the side chimney where it needs to go out the window. We found a little bit of ash there. And so we're trying to figure out if we're having full combustion or not. And yesterday, after it had been burning, we've had it fire up twice now and run all day. And yesterday I found towards the end of the day that I did have a little bit of smoke coming through here rather than going straight up. You have school to get done.
Give me my erasers.
Paige, please give your sister her erasers. Let's see. Chris said, "Hi from Detroit. How often do you recommend cleaning out your stove?" Well, on this one, if there's ash in it, I clean it out. Last time we fired this up, it was last fall, and we ended up using it for a week, and then we needed to clean it out because a piece of paper got sucked up. That's how strong it was pulling, and so we had to pull that out. But generally, my understanding with the rocket stove is that you should have such complete combustion that you're not having a problem with ash. And so it makes me wonder if we are indeed getting full combustion, or because yesterday we had a little bit of smoke come out the top of the chimney. We were using the bench. So today I have the bench closed off. The air is not going to the bench. It's just going straight up the chimney. I don't know if that means that we have a little bit of creosote building up, if we have a little bit of ash, or if it just means that, I don't know what it means at this point. So that's why we're doing the trial runs. We're trying to see how does it run most efficiently. What does it like? And does it like to have the grate in? Does it like to not have the grate in? You know, all those little tiny details that you kind of have to test with something like this. I want to put this down right there. But you see this? I've got a little bit of smoke coming out, which I don't want. And I don't like the grate in there like that. It is not... It's not level. And I really want it level. So I may have to start it back up again. Again, the chimney is cold. The chimney is cold, and we have an awful lot of mass that has to be heated up. But I shouldn't be having this much smoke coming out. Which kind of makes me think, makes me wonder if what happened last time has happened this time, is that we've had some ash that's built up on the inside. That if we have a lot of gases going up that haven't been burnt, the temperature in this makes a huge difference. If it's not a high enough temperature, the gases don't ignite and you still have smoke going out the chimney, and then it doesn't draw well. And the temperatures at the top have been somewhere between 200 and 400 yesterday. That's what they were at. They stayed that way up at the top of the burn chamber, or the top of the heat riser. So that's what the temperatures were there. The temperatures going out the window were about 150. The temperatures going into the bench were higher than that. They were over 200 in the pipe going through the bench. So at this point, when you have this kind of like prototype that you're messing with, there is a lot of experimentation. Just so much experimentation. Trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And when we first put it in, it's just rip snorting every single time. And then over the next couple days, you start to see little things that are not perfect. They're still functional, but they're not perfect. But last time, it worked well for the first 2 or 3 days, and then by the 7th day, it was just really congested. And I'm a little bit concerned that that's what's happening this time too. So we have a little bit of testing still to do on this. It keeps us warm. It got the what's it called? The pea gravel really nice and warm yesterday before we left. And it kept the tiny house from being way too hot, which is huge. It's a tiny space. We have the lofts. Having the mass means that the heat is spread out and even through the house and not extreme up in the attic, so that it's easier to sleep. So I might have to, if we stay here tonight, what I might have to do is set myself a timer so that I remember to get up and put another log in while it's still cold, so that it still stays warm. But the aircrete is working fantastic. The bench is working fantastic. The chimney's working fantastic. What we're working on right now is making them all work together so that it's efficient, and so that we're not having to actually clean out the stove every week. Hello, everybody. KCB Vids. So I'm going to go ahead and get my kids back on school right now because I can hear the giggling, and they're actually supposed to be working on their school. So that was the start. I'll show you again. You can see the smoke though. That's not what we want. It means that it's not drying correctly. It means that it's not drying right. See, smoke? When I put it down, it does a little bit better. But the first time that we used it, you could take this off and you could have wood in the top coming down and it would still suck sideways. But yesterday, towards the end of the day, what happened was I put a stick in from the top, and what it should do is suck the flame out, and then the stick should fall down and burn that way. But that's not what happened. What happened was that the flame started climbing up the stick, which means that it's not sucking back into the stove the way that it should be at this point. And you can hear it burning, but you're not hearing the whoop, 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 whoop of it really taking off. And if I look through the little portals here that are on the side that are to bring more air in, it's not igniting, it's not getting that second burn of the gases, it's just the smoke's just going up the chimney. And that may change once the chimney heats up. Once the chimney heats up, it's a totally different story. It's sucking a lot harder. But this one doesn't go straight out. It has 1, 2, 3. It has 3 elbows to get around in order for us to be able to use that window as the out. It has 1, 2, 3 elbows just in the chimney here in the house to get up and out that chimney. So it has quite a bit of work to do to get out. And then when we're adding the bench in on top of that, we're adding, how many more are we adding at that point? We're adding 1, 2, 3, 4. We're adding 4 more elbows that it has to go through. And so trial run, trial run, trial run. If we didn't have the insulated chimney, it's like a double wall, an insulated chimney that's like $140 for a 4-foot length. It's like that, but it's filled with aircrete, so it's actually working better than that. So it's not the chimney that's not working. It's that kind of it's the combination of the stove, the bench, and all the elbows that we have going on. And so it might take me some time today to get this started and get a good bed of coal so that it's burning sideways, but it kind of looks like maybe we're going to have to do another autopsy. Pardon me. It kind of looks like we're going to have to do another autopsy on it, just to see why 3 days in it's no longer getting that second burn in it. It's acting more like a normal wood stove. And so we may have to take it apart again. But anyway, go check out Honeydew Carpenter if you want to see how he built this, how he built the insulated chimney, and the insulated window box that we have in here so that we don't have cold air coming in and having positive pressure, negative pressure problems. Instead, we have negative pressure. So maybe what I'll do tomorrow is I'll show you when it's rip snorting, what it looks like, and how I'm feeding it, and how it acts when it's actually really, really strong. So I'm going to go get kids on school. Make sure to go check out our Facebook this Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time. We will have another Facebook Live, and we will be talking about off-grid laundry, how to make laundry soap from scratch. And let's see. And then and then let's see. So go check out our Facebook. Go check out our Pinterest. We have a whole bunch of projects on Pinterest and Facebook. And what else was there? We are on Instagram, so we're taking a lot of pictures from what we're doing. And check out the Etsy store, because we have some soap there. We have recipes there, some natural recipes. One of them is hair oil for helping if you have a sensitive scalp or if you want your hair to grow faster, those kind of things. And that sounds good. So we will, let's see, Doug and Stacy. I thought I saw Doug and Stacy for a second. Hey, Doug and Stacy, if that's you. I need to scoot down a little bit. You might put valves on a secondary air intake and close the air off until it starts to warm up, and once it warms up, open the air, and then that way you can get it clean burn. Yes, and that's actually what it is. There is a valve there that is only going out to the chimney right now, and then I can open it and redirect it into the bench later. But again, it's an experiment because we needed something special in a tiny house that did not have a permanent pad. And it's working, it's getting us warm, but we're seeing that it kind of bogs down after the first 3 days. So it needs a little bit more work. So we will talk to you later if I can figure out how to turn it off, and we will go get school done.